Okay, welcome, welcome. We are live and we are creating for the holidays. I just want to give everybody a chance to join us and tune in. Please let us know where you are tuning in from. I know we're going to have a lot of familiar faces here, so I'm very excited to be here. We're going to be creating big things today, big things in the Grand Dream Hoop. Um, and it really is just another technique that we can do on our machines. And it's probably things that we're going to be talking about today are probably things that you really didn't consider using your Grand Dream Hoop for. So I'm very excited about sharing the things that I have all around me. So my name is Nadine Knecht. You may know me as Embroidery Mom. I'm struggling with a little bit of a chest cold here, so bear with me if I start hacking up here. So we are going to be creating in the Grand Dream Hoop today, and that is the jumbo hoop. Okay, this is 360 by 350, and it is a turnable hoop. But I want to talk about things that we can do in this hoop that you probably didn't consider possible. Usually, I know when I was a dealer and I did a lot of things with this hoop, we typically use designs that were made for the hoop. But I'm going to be showing you today how we're going to create and design our own things on the screen of the machine and create using up all of the space. So one of the projects that I love that I taught in my holiday magic workshop classes are tree skirts and table toppers. Let me start out with this guy here because this was the original tree skirt. You can see here I have this little mini tree. I have them in silver and gold. They're available everywhere. You could do the traditional green, but these are the tabletop trees that I am designing the tabletop tree skirts for. So I'll just move this out of the way here. All right. And so this is designed in the Grand Dream Hoop. And it's a lot of metallic threads. It is sequins attached in the hoop. I just created a stitch in our stitch creator so that I could attach all of these sequences right in the embroidery hoop. But I want you to notice the inside scallops here, and the closures are eyelets. And all of these are built-in designs, and they're a combination that you can create in Shape Creator to design your own things. Okay, so because we're talking holiday, this is our first tree skirt. And then I went ahead and created this second tree skirt, which again was a lesson in bringing in our maxi stitches, adding eyelets from the machine. But the big deal here is, and of course, our curved lettering right on the machine. And the big deal is that we were able to bring in built-in sewing machine stitches from the sewing side of the machine into the embroidery side of the machine in Shape Creator. And not only were we able to do that, I'm going to demonstrate this on the screen of the machine, but not only were we able to do that, we were able to eliminate some of them. You can see here, I'll show you the back. We were able to eliminate some of them so that we could create a row of scallops going the other direction, right, for this closure. And then we can fussy place a shape creator or a sequence of eyelets here to use for this organza ribbon. So all of these things are created in the turnable hoop, that 360 by 350. So if you didn't want to go ahead and add the hole in the middle, then you could make your toppers. Now these are, the samples that I'm showing you are made out of a wool blend felt. So it's in the craft section. I buy it by the bolt, and it is a little heavier than your craft felt, but it is partial wool. It's a blend, but I love it because the edges don't fray, right? Here you've got a scallop that's a little open, and then here you have your closed scallop. Okay, and again, we created these little applique triangles, and we created these in Applique Creator, And once we had them one designed, we brought it into Shape Creator, which I'm going to show all of this to you today, demonstrate this. So this allows us to repeat, and then of course we can add our own embellishments. We did sequences here and beads and heat fixed crystals. We placed little loops of ribbon in the applique step so that those were our little tree trunks. Okay, easy, easy. And then this table topper was a lot of fun. This is trees turned the other way to create these little gnome hats. So we've just added the fur right in the applique step. And this is just a fabric covered button. But again, it's just a nice, fun, festive topper. So I'm going to show you how to make these. Now we also have a free gift set for you for tuning in today, which I'm going to be sharing what designs I'm going to be giving you at the end. So I'm going to be giving you a set of designs so you can play with this stuff on your own machine at home. So you can start doing some creating. And again, I'm going to show you on the screen of the machine what we're doing as well. Okay, so in the Grand Dream hoop, typically you are using a Grand Dream design, and that design is split so that you have the opportunity to rotate the hoop. So you're going to stitch out the first half, and then the machine is going to stitch out the second half after you rotate it. All right, now we're going to be doing some designing on the screen of the machine to show you how you can use a combination of designs. Now, typically, if a design is one big design, you cannot bring it into the Grand Dream hoop unless it is split, and you can split that in your software. But I want to focus today on creating our own design combinations that will allow you the flexibility of creating everything on the screen of your machine, and then the rules or guidelines so that the machine will accept it as a Grand Dream design. Now, typically, I'm just going to show you a design. I'll show you some of the samples first before we head to the machine so you can kind of understand what I'm going to be showing you. So this is a silk table runner where I did a lot of tone on tone, and I did this on both ends of the silk runner. This is my subway lettering. I also did this in green, some green cotton velvet with red stitching. But if I wanted to create a design that was big in the Grand Dream, we can bring lettering in from the machine. We can not only place it strategically so that we'll be able to stitch it in the Grand Dream, we're also able to resize the built-in fonts on the machine, which is just so cool. I hope we get to that today. We may or may not, but we have the ability to resize the fonts beyond the built-in default sizes. So I'm going to be showing you the tricks for doing large projects with lettering and working in the Grand Dream hoop. Okay, so also when we're creating designs like this is just a wreath that is using Shape Creator and a design that is built onto the machine. And the way that the design is placed here, this design and the top design are placed in the hoop where they're going to be sitting in the three different sides of the Grand Dream hoop, the middle and the two sides. So this is where your rule is going to come in, where we're going to be talking about this on the screen of the machine, how we can play with that so we can create round wreaths without worrying about the machine telling us that we have a design placed on multiple sides and it will not accept it as a Grand Dream hoop design. And I'm going to show you how we're going to change that and how we're going to work around that. Okay. Also, this is a pillow wrap. Again, I like doing stuff in, creams and whites and, silvers. And this is a pillow wrap. So you can see here, thread on this. It's got a casing on the buttonhole placket on the back. And then there's little holes here. There's little tiny Christmas lights that are coming through the eyelets. And then I can just reach in and turn this on and they would all light up and it would be a lit up pillow wrap. But again, here I'm creating in a circle, and I've got designs that are, I'm creating a round wreath. Now, typically in the Grand Dream Hoop, again, there's those rules about having designs on all three sections of the hoop, and that's what we're going to be talking about also. All right, so the rest of these samples I'm going to save for a little bit later. And I don't want to go to the machine just yet. I want to get this off of the machine here. Let's see here. Amy and I were trying a little experiment a few minutes before we started that I want to talk to you about also. I'm very excited. I'm going to save that for a little bit later in the production here. So let's see here. We're going to go to background color, and I'm just getting this set up. Okay. All right. So let's, if we could, Amy, take, are we in a good place where we can go ahead and switch over to the machine? And I'm just perfect. Okay, great. All right. So now we have the screen of the PFAFF Creative Icon 2, and I have the Grand Dream pulled up. I'm just going to move this down. This is my Grand Dream hoop. Okay. And if you're not sure how to pull that up on your screen, you are going to go into your hoop options, and you're going to come all the way down. You're going to select your Creative Grand Dream hoop, your 360 by 350. Okay. So now we have the left section, the center, which is our grade section, and our right section. So the rule of thumb is, if I were to go into my designs, and I'm just going to bring up this first design here. Oh, let's see here, a little bit of a longer hold. Okay, so if I bring this design in here, and this is a double design. Okay, and I'm going to purposely have this outside of this area here. Just bear with me 1 minute. Okay, so let's say we have a design that needs to take up all three sections. When I go to my stitch out, it's going to tell me that I have to move the design because a color block has been placed on both sides of the turnable hoop. It makes sense, right? Because the design wants to stitch just on one half or the other. And this little gray area is sort of our buffer spot. So now, if I place this on just this side, where the design is taking up or is placed on just the middle and the right side, when I go to stitch out, it's going to take me to the stitch out menu, and it's going to let me do it. And the same thing is if I take this same design and I move it over to the left side of the hoop. And right now this design is in the left side and the center, and I go to stitch out, it's going to let me do it. So this is my test, right? So when I'm designing in the Grand Dream hoop, I'm always going into stitch out to be sure that my designs are cleared. So the rule with the Grand Dream hoop is, as we are designing, your individual designs cannot be placed on all three sections of the hoop. Now we're going to show you today a way to use our shape creator and to create a large design that will in fact take up all three sections of the hoop. Okay, so that's how we're going to be creating the outline for our tree skirt or our table topper. So just this quick demonstration is just showing you that when we are working in the Grand Dream hoop, that we want to be sure the design is only placed in two of the three sections. Okay, so let's just start out here with a built-in font. And I'm going to pick something large. Okay, and I'm just going to type in the word Santa. Okay, and again, I can audition my different letters here, the different font types. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and close this. I'm going to close my keyboard. Okay, I am back into my embroidery edit. Now, if I want to stitch this, I'm going to go ahead and hit stitch out. it's going to let me stitch it, even though it's all one file. So this is how I was able to do my subway lettering. Now, let me show you something here. I'm going to go into my layers, and I am going to ungroup this. I'm going to leave them all highlighted, and I'm going to close my layers. I'm going to come down to my resize. I'm going to resize this. Okay, I'm going to use my up arrow. And I'm resizing this, obviously way beyond the default. And I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. So now my letters are large because I do a lot of, I adjust my lettering a lot when I'm doing my subway lettering, like I showed you in my silk runner there, my table runner. So now if I go into stitch out, it's going to tell me that a color block has been placed on both sides of the turnable hoop. All right, that's because the letter N is in the left, the center, and the tip of it is in the right side of the hoop. So I'm going to go back into my layers. I'm going to select everything, and I'm going to group them together, close my layers, and now I'm just going to move this so the N is on one side or the other. I can move it here or I can move it here. And now when I go into my stitch out, I'm able to stitch this. Okay, so that is a way that you are going to be able to use your lettering in your Grand Dream hoop, even if you resize it. Okay, now you certainly have the ability to go into your layers and ungroup them and just move one letter at a time. But what I just showed you is the secret and the tip for resizing the built-in lettering that's on the machine. Okay, so I wasn't going to go there, but that's the bonus, right? So we're going to be able to resize the default sizes, and it will recalibrate the stitch count. So that is awesome. All right, so now we're going to go ahead. We're going to open up our layers. We're going to select all. We're going to regroup it. We're going to go into our options here, and we are going to delete this. Okay. All right, so now I'm back to my 360 by 350 hoop. Now we're going to create a outline, a border, a satin stitch scallop border for our tree skirt. So we're going to open up our shape creator. We're going to go into our shapes, into our basics. I'm going to pick the second circle here, close my shapes. I'm going to go into my edit, and I'm going to center this. So this is my shape. There currently is nothing on the shape, so I can resize this to get it to whatever size I would like. I'm going to be working in about 12.5 inches here. We've left the padlock locked so it stays a circle, doesn't, inadvertently become an oval. And now we're going to open up our sewing machine stitches. We're going to come over to the satin stitch menu, and we're going to select the scallop stitch, number 6. And we're going to close it. And we can see on our screen, our scallop stitch shows up. So now the idea is that we want to fill this scallop stitch, or fill this shape with scallops. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead here. We can add them, and you can do a long hold. I'm going to go ahead with 50 stitches. Okay, so 50 stitches. I'm about just under 12.5 inches is the size of my shape. All right, and now we can see here, if we really zoom in, we'll just pan this down a little bit. When we zoom in, the scallop stitches, each one is only using 2 of the 3 sections of that hoop. So I'm going to go ahead and, with my move icon, I'm going to center this again. I'm going to zoom out, and we're going to take this back to our embroidery edit screen. All right, so let me just pan out here and show you what we're looking at. I'm going to take this down. All right, so now we have this beautiful scallop all the way around. And let's say I'm going to make this my topper, the edging for my table topper. When I go into my stitch out, it is going to let me stitch this in the Grand Dream. And the nice thing is that with our precise positioning, we're going to be able to be sure that these scallops match perfectly when we rotate the hoop. Okay, now I want to show you another trick, but before I do, Amy, do we have any questions?
Yes, we have somebody who asked, what did you mean by subway lettering? I don't think you showed us that sample yet.
Okay, the subway lettering is, it's just, I mean, it might be an old term, but it used to be something that we used to use when we were designing with all different fonts and font types and letters. And it would just, we would be adding words that mean something to us in this particular file. This is all holiday things. I've done subway lettering for reading pillows. I've done it for, like this is the end of a silk table runner. Okay, so it's just all different letters, different fonts, different sizes, and you are just filling a space with them. So it's really nice for custom gifts as well. Okay, anything else while we're on this?
That's the only question I see now.
Okay. Okay, great. So we're ready to go back to work. We're going to go back to the machine. And when we get done with the machine, I'm going to be showing you other samples because I want to inspire you to try this. And even if you're not able to do this and you're tuning in and you have a different machine, if you stay tuned and watch for what's coming up, you are going to be able to adapt some of the projects that I have coming up to your own machines also. And even if you're working on the Icon 1, these are going to be great exercises for you to try on your own machine at home. All right, so now let's say we're making the tree skirt. So obviously we have to have an opening for the tree skirt, right? We need to add some eyelets or an area where we can slit this project. So in our layers, we can open this up and we can ungroup this. So it takes it from one full design to a whole bunch of individual scallops. So I'm going to deselect, select multiple, so nothing is highlighted. I'm going to close my layers. Let's select this design. Okay, well, let's go up a little bit higher. Let's select this design. We can select whatever design we would like. I'm going to go into my layers and we're going to find that design. It's going to be highlighted. I say design, but I mean sewing machine stitch. I'm going to hit select multiple and I'm going to select another one. So now I have two of them selected on the screen of my machine. Okay, they are selected. I'm going to go into my layers and again, still selected. Let's see, and go into our options and we're going to delete them. Delete. And now I'm going to go back into my select all here and regroup it. Close my layers. So now I have created an opening that I can go back into my shape creator and add scallops here in a straight line. All right, so I would deselect this, go into my shape creator. Okay, this time I'm going to go into my basics. I'm going to select a straight line, close my shape. We'll resize this. We'll angle it just enough to give you an idea of what I'm doing here. Go back into our stitch. Okay, and do our satin stitches. There's our same one here. I didn't think I did a long enough hold on that, so we'll just do that one more time. Notice I questioned myself before I got out of it. Okay, so there we go. So here is one scallop. I'm going to go into my edit, and I am going to just add. Okay. If I go into my positioning here, then I'm able to space them right next to each other. All right, back into edit. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK and get out of Shape Creator just to show you what our mission is. So now we can take this and we can line it right up. And of course, we would create another one and add another one here. Then we could add our eyelets and we would be able to add some organza ribbon in here. So again, we go into our stitch out. It's going to allow us to bring this into the stitch out mode, which means everything is okay in placement. And so we are able to go ahead here and create an opening by adding extra stitches in the Shape Creator. So I absolutely love that ability to do that. All right, so now I want to show you another trick for adding additional embellishments around here. All right, so Amy, if we could just hop back to where I could show them this before we head back to the screen, that would be great. Okay, awesome. So we just showed how to take a very basic shape, a circle, whatever size we want, large, right? We want to do this in the Grand Dream Hoop. And now I want to show you how to add additional design elements to this. Okay, for example, we have these little trees. These are just little applique trees that were done using an applique technique, same as you would with anything, the 3 steps. And of course, we have our little hairy people here, our gnomes. Again, same thing. So I want to show you how we can quickly create a shape and repeat it in Shape Creator and add this quickly onto our, whether it's our topper or our tree skirt. Okay, so we're going to be doing that. And then we're going to be working with some traditional designs in the Grand Dream Hoop and showing you that as well. I just want to give you some design possibilities. So again, head back over to the machine and we are going to add, I'm just going to take this out of the equation here. We're just going to delete this. Okay. All right. So, so now we just have this. We'll just pretend this is a complete table topper. We're going to go into our applique creator and we are going to select our shapes. Into our basics, I will select a triangle. Now the triangle comes in very large because it's relative to the hoop that we have selected. So now we're going to go into our edit and we're going to go into our resize. I'm going to unlock my padlock. So this way I can drag this in or I can make these whatever size I would like, tall and thin, short and squatty, whatever you want to do. But unlocking that padlock, I can resize this. Okay, so this looks good. I'm about 2.5 by a little over 3 3/4. So I'm going to get out of Applique Creator. I'm going to select OK. So now we have one applique. And I'm going to open this applique up in Shape Creator. I'm going to select my shape into my basics, my second circle, close my shapes, open my edit. My move icon is selected. I'm going to move that to the middle. Okay, and here we can go into our positioning and we can change the position of the triangle. Okay, so if we want this to be a tree, we can go ahead and bring this in. Okay, so here's our tree. We're going to go back into our edit. We're going to add the amount of trees that we want. You can see that they are populating around the circle evenly. All right, so in other words, the spacing is even. If I have a red line, I might want to bring that circle in a little bit more to resize it. So here the mission is to be sure that whatever I bring in is only taking up 2 of the 3 sections of the hoop. So in other words, I'm just going to do this. If I pull these in and the placement of my trees were like this, in which the triangle is taking up or is placed on all 3 sections of that dream hoop, this is not going to work. So I will oftentimes, when I'm designing, I will go into that move, or that rotate, I should say, rotate the designs so that they are only taking up 2 of the 3 sections of that grand dream hoop. And this is how you design and make your placements work when you're using individual designs or you want to bring things in through one of your creators. So now I'll hit OK. And I'm going to head into my embroidery edit screen. And now I would be, okay, I didn't group these yet, but we can just go right into our edit, into our move icon, and bring that right back in the middle. And then when I'm all said and done, I can go into my layers and I can hit select all, group them together, close my layers, and now I have one design. So what's really great about this is when I go into my stitch out, and I'm just going to do this just to double check again, I have the option here to select the turnable hoop, which is the side sort option. And by selecting this, this is going to tell the machine to stitch out everything on one side before we flip the hoop to the other side. So in other words, if there's the same color green on both sides of the hoop, I don't want to be doing that green. I want to be stitching everything on one side before I flip it. Okay, so otherwise it's a lot of back and forth where you're moving your hoop. If I select this, and you can hit your question mark and select this icon, it's going to tell you that you select this to embroider all designs on one side of the hoop before turning it to the other. And truly, this is typically what I do. Okay, so we would hit OK, and at this point, we would go into our stitch out. All right, so easy ways of adding design elements to the Grand Dream hoop that were not specific to or designed for the Grand Dream hoop. Okay, so now let's go ahead here and take a look at one more thing. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do a long hold on this, and I'm going to delete everything because I want to just have the opportunity to address doing things with built-in designs. So I'm going to delete everything. I am still in the Grand Dream hoop, and I would like to create a wreath. Okay, so we can go into our designs. Now we can open Shape Creator first, or we can open up our designs first. Either way, we can bring it into the screen and make our edits. Let's just go into Holiday, and I'm going to select this design here because I have that stitched out. Okay, it defaulted to the smaller design or to the smaller hoop. We'll go back into our hoop options and design in our Grand Dream. Okay, and once again, here is my design. So I brought that in first. Now I can open up my Shape Creator. Nothing like a little muscle memory here. Go back into our shapes, pick that second circle, close this, draw in to resize the size of our shape, go into our edit, add our designs. Okay. All right, so we have 9 designs here. I'm going to go ahead and select OK. Now they fit within the hoop. I'm sure you can, whoops, I wanted to move that little screen out of the way here. I'm sure you can see what the problem is already, right? We move this in the center. There we go. I was trying to move this out of our way and I grabbed the wrong thing. Okay, so we have this beautiful wreath. We have this design that is on all 3 sides of the hoop. So now we can go into our, so if I went to stitch out right now, it's going to tell me, see here, I just want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing. Okay, let's get this up here. So if I go into my edit And I want to be sure that I move things so that their designs are not all placed, right? However, when I'm working in my shape creator, I have that ability to go back into shape creator and make some changes, right? As long as this is the original design, it's not one that I've pulled up that I've saved, I can actually go in here and make changes to the design. Okay, I can go into my positioning and I can change how the designs are populating here, the direction they're going. Okay, so I can make all of those changes, hit OK, and I still have that ability to design in that Grand Dream hoop using designs from the screen of the machine, bringing them into Applique Creator. Okay, so now let's just, I'm going to do one more thing here. Actually, Amy, let's take it back to the other screen so that I can talk about, perfect, so that I can talk about, can show you some samples here. When I was designing this linen table runner, this was part of one of the classes, we designed using, this is a built-in tree branch. Now you can resize this quite nicely on the machine to make it larger. So you can stitch this out and then you can add your additional designs. So when I'm stitching here, I'm noticing that this ornament is right in the middle. So this is actually going to take up space on all three sides of the hoop, but I'm using that shape creator feature. So I'm going to be able to have some flexibility there. All right, so when you're designing in the Grand Dream hoop, the biggest rule is to be sure that those designs are not placed anywhere but two of the three sections, the middle and the right or the middle and the left. Okay, so now I have something exciting that I want to share with you that is, if you are, I know several people that are tuning in are in my classrooms, and this was a project, you know, I love to collage. Okay, so I'm just going to show you this. Amy, I'm going to tip myself down a little. This was one of our current collages that we created, lots of bling and pearls. It was one of the things that we just did in our Create Academy, and we did it as a sampler series. So here it is. And one of the things that we discovered was that we could take a sketch, a very quick drawing, and we could draw it on a piece of paper. We could pin it to a piece of hoop stabilizer. And I created this collage as well, same design, from a simple tree shape that I designed or that I drew, and then I just added all sorts of small designs to it, right? These are all mini designs, flowers, everything's built onto the machine that I used in this collage. Okay, so the options that we showed were photo stitch, right? Take a picture, bring it in. We've got this great design template. But if you want to use a drawing in your Grand Dream hoop, you could use your design placement feature that is in the My Sewnet app. It is part of the, it's available in the basic all the way up to the platinum. And what it basically is here I have a piece of paper stabilizer, tearaway stabilizer, a very rough shape of a Christmas tree. And I was able to take this in design placement. And if you've ever used this within the My Sewnet app, it is amazing. We use the hoop scan for this exercise. And what this is doing is allowing you to draw something and bring it onto the screen of your machine. So we did this in design placement where you took a picture of your hoop just as it is like this. It came into the app. We were able to send this to the machine, and on the screen of the machine was a picture of my Grand Dream hoop and my large tree. So now I could use this as a design template to create something, a collage, okay, like this. Again, this is exactly what I'm wearing on my shirt, only just a different background. And I got a lot more bling going on here. But aside from Christmas, you could do things like, and this is an older sample, you've seen this probably before, but this is a basic butterfly wing. So you could create a beautiful big butterfly collage by having your two wings on each side of that shaded area in the hoop. And then you could bring in designs in your in that gray shaded area for the body of your butterfly or dragonfly. And then, of course, when you brought in these designs, one would be on one side of the hoop and the gray area. One would be on the other side of the hoop and the gray area. So you really have so many design capabilities, especially if you start involving, like, again, these are templates. These are design templates that show up on the screen of the machine so that I can do my own designing right on the machine using built-in stitches, built-in design combinations. So that was so much fun to be able to do that, right within that app. And you can do that right in that basic membership. So that was a whole lot of fun and just opens up to so many new project possibilities. All right, so now we're still doing pretty good on time. Let's take a few more questions if there are any, and then I'm going to show you the rest of our trunk show for today. How are we doing, Amy?
The question that I've seen a couple of times is, can this be done on the Icon 1?
100%. Absolutely. Yes, you can do this on the Icon 1. The Icon 1 takes the Grand Dream hoop. If you don't have the Grand Dream hoop, it is such an amazing hoop for so many reasons. Okay, for doing big things, for adding multiple small things in the hoop, which I'm going to show you in a minute. So you can multitask in the hoop. But now you can do so much designing in the hoop, and everything that I'm doing can be done on the Icon 1 as well. I mean, the hoop scan is on the Icon 2, but there are ways that you can do what I just showed you, and everything I've showed you on the screen of the machine can be done on the Icon 1 as well. So how's that for the short answer?
That's a good answer.
Okay.
And I have one more question here. Somebody wants to know, when you stitch it out and turn it, when does the middle section stitch out?
Okay, so the middle section, the machine kind of decides when it's going, I found when it's going to stitch. So is whatever's in the middle, is that going to stitch with the first part of the hoop or the second part of the hoop? Well, my history is that if it's leaning towards the left side of the hoop, then it's going to stitch on the second time. If it's leaning towards the right, right side of the screen, that initial stitch out, that side A, it's going to stitch with side A. And the machine does a really good job of deciding that for you. And the other thing too is, if you've never used precise positioning, it is a wonderful feature. It's on both the Icon 1 and the Icon 2, and it's a really awesome, quick way to check to be sure that your second side is going to match with your first side, like your scallops and such. And that's available on the Icon 1 as well. So for sure, everything that we've shown you so far, you can do on both models.
And I've got a couple more questions that came in.
Okay.
Does the Creative Sensation, is it compatible with the Grand Dream hoop?
Oh my God, you're testing me now. That does work on the Creative Sensation does work, doesn't it?
I think so. I feel like it does. We can check.
I'm going back to my dealer days. So I will answer that question. It's just been so long. I do own that machine. And it's been a while since I played with that and these types of techniques, but I will absolutely fire that machine up. And I'll get back to her on that, or whoever asked that question, I'll get back to them on. Cool. I'm pretty sure we did not have. Yeah, if your machine takes the Grand Dream hoop, you can do these things. You have Shape Creator, So you can play with these things for sure. Now, and also too, everything that I'm showing you in Shape Creator can be done in your 360 by 200 hoop, because that's the hoop size you have for that model. So a lot of the things that I'm showing you here in Shape Creator and creating things, we've done a lot of these projects in my classrooms in the 360 by 260. I think that Grand Dream hoop is probably one of the least, I say it's the least used machine, because I feel like people don't always know all of the creative possibilities that you can do with that hoop. So, I feel like if you own it, then you really pull it out and play with it. There's so many things you can do with it. If you don't own it, Santa's going to be coming really soon. So put that on your list, because it is just an awesome, awesome hoop to design with. Okay, are we good?
You are good to go. Yep.
Okay. All right. So, when we are designing in the hoops and the Grand Dream hoop is a great thing for multitasking. So your gift today, we are going to be, and we've done it in multi-format. So if you have the capability on your machine, whatever brand you're working on or whatever model you're working on, if you have the ability to go to the 360 by 350 hoop, I have two files for you. One file is a tabletopper file that I've already created. So now you can just go in and embellish it. And the other one is a tree skirt. It has the side slit. It has the eyelets already ready for you. And then again, you can go in and embellish it. If you're working on another machine or you don't have the capability of going to 360 by 350, we're going to give you a set of designs that are triangles. Now, if you've tuned in to any of my previous lives or classrooms, whether you're here with PFAFF or over on Embroidery Mom, you know how much I absolutely love and utilize Applique Creator. I love it. I use it for templates. I use it for dimensional things, freestanding things. I absolutely love Applique Creator. So what I've done is I've created 4 different size triangle appliques. And I did this so that you could play around with creating your own centerpieces. Perhaps you want to do the Christmas tree that we showed you. Just pulling things here. We've got this little topper. I've given you this tree, this size, in a satin stitch. If you're working in Applique Creator on your own, you might want to explore the autofill stitches, because if you notice, this little tree is not a satin stitch. It's a decorative stitch. So you can, this is another decorative stitch. You can replace the satin stitch in Shape Creator with autofill stitches. But what I've given you is a set of the triangles, one being this size. Okay. The other one being this size, so that you can create these little gnome hats. Okay. And if you're wondering about that too, I just wanted to show you, this is the fur that I use, this long fur. Park Lane is the brand. I don't really know, can't remember where I got it. It's just, cut it from the back, cut your triangles from the back. And that's how you add that right into your part of your applique. You just rest that right in there. I use a piece of clear tape that holds the fur right down, and then I can peel that afterwards. I've also created, again, this is the Grand Dream hoop where you can load your hoop up. We've created these little individual ones. We've added eyelets to them so that you can hang them as garland. You could hang them as ornaments. If you're going to hang them as an ornament, you put a piece of ribbon right in the applique step. So we have all of these little guys, and they're all embellished. This has got a little dimensional flower. But you can load these up in your Grand Dream hoop and stitch, I don't know, probably at least 8 of them at a time. Okay, all different embellishments, different exercises. Look at the lace edge stitching. We brought this right into the hoop. You have that on your icon 1 and your icon 2. So instead of adding it afterwards, we added it in our Shape Creator or Sequence Creator. You could use both of those. and add those eyelets and bury them, I'm sorry, lace edge stitching, and bury them right beneath your satin stitch. So if I show you the back, you don't see the stitch either. So I went ahead and just did my stitching order a little out of order, and I buried those. So I stitched my lace edge stitching before I did my satin stitch. Okay, and again, we've just got, these are all different exercises. This was something in one of the courses that I taught to get people a lot of different experience a lot of different exercises in the same project. So Grand Dream Hoop, we can load them up with small things. Again, here is another, this is just a very quick mug mat. And here we've done the same applique, only in this case, we have made it, I've got a little glare there from my glass. We've cut it out and made it a mat for a Christmas photo. Okay, so I've given you the 4 sizes that you're going to be able to create your own designs. And of course, you can apply them in any particular project that I've showed you so far. All right, so let's see if we have anything else here. We're doing okay on time-wise. All right, so I got all my hoops. If you hear something crashing, that's what it is. Okay, so back to the triangles, just to show you some additional projects, because when I loaded these designs, they're in all different formats. So whatever machine you're working on, again, here is a runner where it's just all different triangles here. And if you're wondering what that great glitter is, you've got to ask your dealer about that. This is art glitter that you bake in the oven. It becomes permanent. So you can see how glittery that is. If you're in my classrooms, you know I love adding this to the holiday projects. But you can add all different stars from your mini designs. I believe my trunks are all different size appliques as well. And we've got beads and sequins and whatever you want to do to embellish that. Here is another wrap, pillow wrap. And again, this was just a double applique on top of an applique. And then my, again, you recognize that. And then my 3 little hearts, again, just simple triangles. But this is a way for you to create a very fast custom gift as well, just by adding a last name here, maybe the year they were married, the year they bought their house. Again, making it personal. Speaking of personal, I have to add one more gnome onto this because we've got a 4th baby now. But again, using the triangles in different sizes and adjusting your control points in Applique Creator, you can do some wonky triangles. But here we have these, and we have little triangle bodies underneath here as well. And we've just added, let's see, we've got Carson, Blake, and Beck. And then we've got to add a 4th one. We've got a 4th baby. We got to add Stetson. So I think we have to probably do a whole new little pillow wrap. But again, just a fast way of using the triangles. And of course, this is Applique Creator. It's just a triangle. Okay. Some more of those edge stitching. I'd love to use that on the binding. Just adds a little bit of detail. Okay. That is added using the machine part of it, using the sewing machine. But again, we're just embellishing. And if you want to do some raw edge applique, this is some couching. And this, again, these were exercises also in one of the previous Holiday Magic workshops. But again, it's all done raw edge. And you can see just by changing the shape of your triangles and stacking them, you can create all sorts of different tree shapes, if you will. So easy designing. And again, that Grand Dream Hoop is just a wonderful tool for adding so many things at a time. You know, multitask. I call it my multitasking hoop. But now that I've discovered the whole collage, possibility of things, I'm going to be doing a lot of collaging in my Grand Dream Hoop for sure. Let's see what else I have here. So when you are designing, and this is something I did in the 360 by 260, but I brought it down to show you, because if you look at the design and you think, okay, I want to make this in the Grand Dream Hoop, how do I do it? The only thing that's not going to work here, everything is going to be perfect for the Grand Dream hoop, except, well, two things. The candy canes, I would pick two of them. And I would have one going one direction, one going the other direction, because this candy cane is going to take up all three sides of my Grand Dream hoop. The applique down here, again, is going to take up all three sides. So I'm not going to be able to do this applique, but I am going to be able to, these are individual frames. These are built onto the machine. I'm going to be able to do that in the Grand Dream. I'm going to be able to create this combination with some small adjustments, because like I showed you before, we can go ahead and separate the lettering to move things so it's only taking up two of the three sections. We can resize things. We can ungroup and regroup. We certainly can go ahead and add a shape to our lettering right on the machine. So, look at things, and sometimes you want to go big. You want to go big for pillow tops. You want to go big for your wraps. We're doing a sampler series now in Create Academy where we're doing things for a particular frame, and we're doing multiple samplers. So if you want to do something like that and change it out and do it in your Grand Dream hoop size, you have the capability with just a few basic tips and rules about using that Grand Dream hoop. So, so those, I'm hoping that those simple things will get you working in that hoop and designing in that hoop and seeing how many possibilities they are. Because I remember being in a part in time where you wanted to create extra things in your Grand Dream hoop. You pretty much were thinking you had to go and purchase all these designs that were specific. But if you wanted a particular design, like something like this, and you wanted to create it yourself, because obviously it's large and it takes up all three parts of the hoop sides of the hoop, I would never have had that capability to do that in the Grand Dream hoop with a design that was already done and created as an entire design. But creating this by adding all these designs individually and making a collage, it's very simple to do in the Grand Dream hoop. So I'm so excited about that. Can you tell I'm so excited about that? So do we have any more questions in our last few minutes, Amy?
Nadine, let everybody know where they can get those designs from you.
Oh, that's
and
right.
The code that they need to use.
And the code. Okay, perfect. So you're going to go over to embroiderymom.com. Amy is going to put a link up for you in the master post. Is that correct? We're doing that in the master post.
Yes, it's in the event description at the top and on the YouTube page as well.
Okay, great. So you're going to go there with a code, and the code. So right now, if you went there, you're going to see that there is a cost for all the files. There is a code. It is holiday, all capitals. So when you go to your cart and you are cashing out your cart, over to the left side of the screen, you will see a place to add a code. Type in holiday, all in capital letters, and it will take that off. It will take the cost of the files off, and you will get them for free, and you'll be able to download them. I have also included a little photo gallery for you in there as well, so that the samples, you can go back and look at those samples as a visual to help you design. So that's going to be in your file as well. And you will download that from a zipped file, and then you'll pick your file format. And if you have any questions, you can, my email is listed on the webpage as well, but it's embroiderywithnadine@yahoo.com. You can send me a direct message. I would love to invite you, if you're not over on Embroidery Mom, join us on Embroidery Mom. We are starting next week, the 12 days of Christmas. So we're going to be featuring a different technique every day for 12 days. I know it's crunch time, so a lot of the things perhaps you won't have time to try until after the holiday, but it's going to be giving you ideas for some last minute gift ideas. It's going to be just kind of showing you some different techniques that you can do with some of the built-ins in your machine. And it's always a challenge to take a look at what we're designing and creating and try to do it on your own machine at home, because that's, that's sort of the greatest part about learning, is experimenting and getting your hands on all the different features and creators on the machine. So that's an Embroidery Mom. It's on Facebook. That's over there starting next week, the 12 Days of Christmas. But to get the designs, holiday, all in capital letters, is your code. And you'll go right over to embroiderymom.com and download that. Okay, does that sound like a plan?
Nadine, how long is that code going to be available? Like, how long will it be good for?
Okay, the code will be good through Monday. So you'll be able to go in. So that way we're leaving it up so that people that are in different time zones, different parts of the country, have the opportunity to watch the video and will be able to get in there and download those as well. So that the code will be good, holiday, all in caps, until the end of Monday.
Excellent. And I would like to also remind everybody that this has been recorded. So it will be available to watch both on the PFAFF North America Facebook page and YouTube channel forever. So you can go back and watch it all over again.
Yeah, so listen, if your list is too long for this Christmas, right, you certainly can get started for next Christmas. That's the beauty about it, right? It's never too soon to stitch and create and design for Christmas, right? There's no time frame for that. So, I mean, and even, if you're doing tabletoppers, you could make them for birthdays. You could customize them with names. I'm looking for one of my other things here. You can customize them with names and make them personal. And that's what makes, to me, that's what makes the gift of embroidery that much more special, is when you actually put a custom, something in there, whether it's your name or the date they bought their house or the date they were married or whatever, the child's birth date. There's always that, extra special that makes the embroidery part of things just endless, really, so, but yeah, so we're going to be I'm doing gifts of this. This is not it's not a short stitch out, but it really was a lot of fun. And it's just, it's very festive, and the more bling, the better, right? Always, always. So listen, everybody, I appreciate you tuning in. And if you have any questions, I'm available for you. Go ahead and shoot me an email, stop over at Embroidery Mom, leave your questions right here. I will be checking them and doing my best to answer all of them for you. And I wish you all a very happy holiday, whatever you celebrate. Merry Christmas. And I'll be back doing another live here after the first of the year. We'll be doing some things for Embroidery Month. So I'll be getting ready for that. And again, thanks for being here and for always supporting us. And please post your creations. Things that you do are inspiring to everyone. So we'd love to see that as well. So everybody have a great holiday season. Stay rested and as peaceful as you can, right? With all the relatives. So all right. Have a great time, guys. And we'll see you all again soon.